we plan to answer regularly on a variety of topics. But tonight, it means what's next when the Electoral College officially votes for president. That happens December 19th, and that's the day on which the deal is sealed. And yet some electors believe it is possible to hand the presidency over to someone other than Donald Trump. Could this actually happen? Should it happen? Joining us now, two of those electors who are pushing for this, Brett from Washington State and Michael Baca from Colorado. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us. This is the kind of topic that just infuriates people watching the show. And I just want to say on the outset, I think you both are sincere. I'm not here to attack you at all. I really want to know kind of how you're thinking about this. But I got to say, Brett, to you first, we've had a lot of elections. We had a national election and then 50 primaries and caucuses, and people already told us their preference, and you're trying to undo that. So why wouldn't they be mad at you for trying that?
Well, they absolutely have had their vote. But as the Constitution was set up by our founding fathers, it designed this system where the population of the United States votes for electors, and the electors vote for the presidency.
Right.
The founding fathers, including Alexander Hamilton, really saw it as the last line of defense against an unfit president.
Right, and against the vicissitudes of the mob. No, that's absolutely right. And yet, on the other hand, Michael, people feel like, I think correctly, that they ought to have a voice in who the president is. And the truth is, when Trump assumes that office, he'll be accountable for the tens of millions of people who voted for him. Your candidate would be accountable to 270 electors. So you can see why that's inherently not very democratic, right?
Well, absolutely. And I want to say that, the next president needs to have the values that I believe represent Americans. I'm a former United States Marine. Honor, courage, and commitment are absolutely critical and ingrained to the fiber of my being. And I do not believe that Donald Trump has those values. And so I think that, like Brett mentioned, the founding fathers, this is the last line of defense. And I think that we must do all that we can to, ensure that we have another Republican candidate that has better values for Americans.
Right. But, I mean, there's no Republican candidate, as you know, Brett, who has the support that Trump has. And if you were to do this, you would send a really clear message to people that it's not a democracy, it's an oligarchy, a small number of people run it. And wouldn't you be thereby ensuring social chaos? I mean, democracy is a safety valve that keeps people calm, and when they think they have no control, they freak out and storm the Bastille. Isn't this reckless?
Well, when the founding fathers set this system up, they set it up specifically this way for a situation like this.
Right.
And I believe the founding fathers were geniuses and wrote one of the most amazing documents in the history of mankind. And I don't consider it a good thing to question what they put into place.
Well, I don't think they actually spoke on Trump specifically that I remember. I haven't seen the documents in a while, but I don't think he's in there.
No, he's not. But they spoke very clearly, especially Alexander Hamilton in Federalist 68. They spoke very clearly about someone getting into office who was unfit for the position.
Right.
And they left that up to a small number of people who could look into the issue and decide. They specifically left it up to those people, 538 at this point, and that was their plan all along. And so all we're trying to do is honor what the founding fathers gave us.
And as I said at the outset, I mean, I give you guys both credit for good intentions. I don't think you're, trying to hurt anyone in doing this. I think you're people of goodwill. But Michael, if you are sincerely concerned as a former Marine about the direction this country is about to take under Trump, why wouldn't you do the more obvious thing, which is try to convince wise people to join him in the administration and help administer this government and move it in a good direction? Isn't that a better and more obvious choice?
Well, look at the people who he's surrounding himself with. We're going to have Steve Bannon, who I think is absolutely deplorable, and I do not think that as a man that we should have.
I get it. You don't like something, but why aren't you volunteering?
Tucker, I'm sorry, but we're not here to attack. We're not here to
I'm not
engage
attacking.
in a blah, blah, blah.
It's a sincere
I would
question.
apologize if you let me say this. The people that he's already surrounding himself with are not good. They don't reflect the values that I believe the Americans hold. I do not believe that the Americans had.
Michael, I'm trying to be patient, but the guy's appointed like 3 people. I mean, there are 3,760 positions open.
With a leader of the alt-right movement?
There are 3 people
that
appointed. So, but what about you and your friends who are decent?
Of the people he's appointed reflect the values of white nationalists, which I do not believe reflect the values of Americans.
Now, I said I took you seriously, and now I don't, because that's just stupid, and you have no supporting evidence for it. So I'm going to have to go to your colleague here. No, because you're throwing white supremacy around, and you honestly have no idea what you're talking about.
I didn't say white supremacy. You're putting words in my mouth, Tucker.
If you disagree with their views on things, state what they are, but instead you're name-calling. So I'm going to go over to your friend Brett here and ask a pretty simple question, which is, isn't the main point of this system, as designed by the founders whose wisdom you revere, rightly so, to preserve a strata of social stability upon which you can build civil society and economy and the rest? What you're proposing would really cause chaos and a lot of drama that would be hard to recover from. Do you recognize that?
Well, I certainly recognize what the Founding Fathers put into place. They put into place a release valve, in case of emergency firebox for a situation like this. And we want a conversation with all the other electors out there, and we're not going to tell them what to do. We're simply going to have a conversation about what they think is best, and hopefully they will agree with us and come together around a Hamilton candidate such as a John Kasich or a Bloomberg.
Okay.
And
I think
if people want to know more about really what we're...
Okay. Well, so we're almost out of time, and now I know I cut you off, Michael, because I thought you were unfair, so I just want to give you one last shot. You were posturing about your moral fitness and the lack of moral fitness of Trump's appointees. Aren't you bound to support a specific candidate? Are you allowed to do this as an elector? I mean, fill me in here. Wouldn't you be violating an agreement you made?
We have, under our Article 2 in the Constitution, under the 12th Amendment, we have the right to choose, and we have to be able to come to around a consensus candidate, a Hamilton Republican, because there are many fine conservatives out there, and I'm actually rather excited to see what Republicans do with full control, because, you know, if their values and if what is going to happen in our country, I'm excited to see, because if they're right, well then, you know, we proved us wrong, and I'm not too stubborn to change. And I think that's what's something we're getting misguided on.
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot for explaining yourselves.
Everybody should look. Everybody should look at HamiltonElectors.com.
I tried to get on it today, and I couldn't. You need a new web designer. But anyway, gentlemen, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right. Here's something new and ominous. Prescription painkillers now top tobacco.